guys, this is Anthony. I'm part of the 9th Age Community Engagement Team, and in this video we'll be looking at some miniatures designed exclusively for the 9th Age from Fireforge Games. Link to these products will be shown in the description below. Specifically, we'll be looking at miniatures that can be used for your Kingdom of Equitaine army, but I also feel these miniatures can be used to varying degrees in an Empire Stonsal army, or a Vampire Covenant army as Fallen Vampiric Knights, or even in a Warriors of the Dark Gods army, if you convert them to be knights that have succumbed to the Dark Gods. But let's get on to the miniature, shall we? So if you followed the description, you'll be taken to the fantasy page of Fireforge Games web store, which you can see here, where you can see their range of miniatures. And these are not the only miniatures I would recommend using. These fantasy miniatures are designed exclusively for the 9th Age, but you can certainly mix and match with their historical ranges, and we'll take a look at those in a little bit. I've personally bought several kits from Fireforge, and I can tell you their miniatures are really good quality. You get minimal mold lines, and given the plastic's nature, it's very easy to cut it up and convert it and do green stuff work if that's your objective. Currently, they have Knights of Albion that can be used for almost any knight in Kingdom of Equitaine, or even Empire Stonsal straight out of the box. They also have Pegasus Knights, which I think is pretty unique to them. I'm not aware of any other miniatures company that provides this many Pegasus Knights in plastic for the price point that you're seeing here. And they also have a couple of Pegasus Knights Heroes, which I think are pretty nice as well. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at those guys. So firstly here we have one of the two Pegasus Knights Heroes, and as you can see here, this is one that they call Lion because of the lion shield and also the helmet that you see this miniature wielding. And then the next one here is the Fleur de Lis. So you get some different shield options with these miniatures. Otherwise, from an aesthetic appeal, they're fairly similar, barring the headdress and the shield. Otherwise, they're fairly similar. But again, if you buy multiples of these kits, I'm sure you can mix and match these arm components here, as well as the shields and the heads as well. So there's a lot of opportunity to dabble in different kits and do different types of head swaps. If we move along here, these are the Pegasus Knights, and for 30, are these pounds or euros? These are euros. Sorry, I'm American. 30 euros for 4 of these guys is actually a really good price. You see a couple of the heads there. Each of the Pegasus Knights seems to have a slightly different pose. I like that they're actually on something. I'm sure you could clip that off if you wanted to do something else with the basing, but it's nice that they're actually on something as opposed to other miniatures companies' Pegasus Knights, which may just be on a peg inserted straight into their abdomen. And here we get a little bit of a closer view. This is a helmet that you could actually find in their Teutonic Knight range. I know that because I have that helmet. So there's definitely opportunities to mix and match and swap the helmets around here, or do a little bit of green stuff and conversion work to make each one of their heads unique. Here's another helmet as well that looks like it came from the Teutonic range also. And there's another helmet as well. It looks like the Teutonic range as well. But again, all these heads, they all have the same torso component, so you can swap heads very easily, whether they be heads with helmets and mail, or just mail, or completely naked heads, or partially enclosed helmeted heads. There's really a lot of opportunity across all the Fireforge Games kits to do varying things with the components. And here's the last Pegasus Knight as well. Nice dynamic posing going on there. And here we get a picture of the sprue. So for those of you who own one of the prior Fireforge Games kits, this is what you're getting. And again, you get an option to put that cloak on the miniature or not. It's a good way to distinguish champions or command models in units. It's also a good way to distinguish heroes, and quite a bit of ample head options. And in addition to the lance components, you get an ample amount, even more amount of varying swords and maces and flails and even an axe there. So lots of opportunities to convert up your unit to suit your fancy. If we look at the next kit here, these are the Knights of Albion, and again, you're getting 12 knights for 27 euros. That's a ludicrous deal if you look at some of the other miniature companies out there. And of course, they're supplied with the bases. And if the next picture will go ahead and load for me, you also, if you pre-order at this point in time, get some heraldic shields here. Now the shields do come as blanks, as we saw in some of the prior photos, which allows a lot of opportunities for, if you wanted to do a decal, you could do that. If you want to just use these shields as well and paint the imagery on here, it's nice that there's 12 unique ones That's pretty rare to have that many unique ones available to you, but of course you can mix and match as well. And here's a little bit of a closer look, and really the nice thing here is the unique heads. So you get varying heads in this particular kit. You can get the shields as well if you pre-order, or you can order them separately as a separate kit, and you can do lots of head swaps. So you could really have 3 dozen or more knights, each with different heads, some with cloaks, some without cloaks, and really get a lot of mixing and matching in your knights there without even starting the process of what a Kingdom of Aquitaine army vision is, which is multicolored, lots of different tapestries going on as well. Here's another image of more knights. And there's a picture of the sprue. Again, this sprue should be fairly unique to Kingdom of Albion. Most of the components are the same, but these heads up here are the unique pieces. If I take a look, it looks like there's 9 or 8 unique heads. It looks like around 8 unique heads. So quite a bit of options there. Almost a unique head for every single miniature. And of course, you can double dip. KoE is an army of individuals collectively forming as a unit. Here's a better image of their shields, which you can purchase separately for €7.50. But again, if you pre-order, you will get these shields as part of the Albion Knight kit as well. I also want to take you over to their Scandinavian range, and while this is not in the fantasy range exclusively for Fireforge games, I think it's certainly worth note. This is a fantastic 20mm based hero. The miniature scale, I would say, for Fireforge games is 28mm. It's not quite heroic 28mm, but I think it's certainly an appropriate scale given these are humans. And you get a really nicely dynamically posed hero here with the sword, which of course would be very easy to clip off there at the hand and the hilt, and go ahead and put another weapon in there if you wanted to go ahead and do that. And as you can see, he's got a really nice flowing cape there. He does have some elevation on the rock, which would make it easier for him to rank up in a unit. But of course, you could do some dynamic basing with him as well and elevate him even further in case that cape became a hindrance. And yeah, I really like his dynamic posing here. He's certainly not a static character at all, and he is very cheap at just €6. And lastly, I want to take you over here to the historical range. The Teutonic and the Templar Order, the Men-at-Arms is also another fantastic section to go check out, as well as the Scandinavian section as well. You could completely build an army of Kingdom of Aquitaine or Empire Stansel completely off of the Fireforge games miniatures, or you can mix and match and splash a unit here or there. But that was a quick look at the Fireforge miniatures. I feel they're a great option for multiple 9th Age armies, specifically the Kingdom of Aquitaine. I'd ask you to tune in next time where we'll showcase some more miniatures that we feel would be great for the 9th Age. And if you have any suggestions on models and miniature companies that we should feature on this channel, feel free to post those in the comments section below as we'll continue this series. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you come back in the future for more 9th Age content.